Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here and welcome back to Crossout. And today, I've been on the internet again. Yeah, that's something I've been doing. If you have seen my previous video, go and check that out. In that episode, I found a sports car online and decided that maybe that could be turned into a combat vehicle of some sort. However, this time I decided to go onto the farming section on the online marketplace, and I found this. Now, this is an old piece of farming equipment that was sort of jury-rigged together from an old minivan, and it's a combine harvester, at least it looks like one, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with this, because I've been buying things for absolutely no reason now, and this is no exception. So what we have here is a nearly 11-ton vehicle. It's very heavy, and it has the harvester blade at the front, it's got a big grain hopper at the rear, and it's powered by two inline 4-cylinder petrol engines. So that's a fair amount of power, at least for, you know, for what you can get together out there in the wasteland. But of course, it's fairly rugged as well, because the farms out here in the wastelands are not the typical amber waves of grain that you might be familiar with. So this is built for that sort of terrain and that sort of environment, and that immense weight comes down to the huge all-weather steel body that it has on it, which is there to, well, basically to withstand the elements out here in the wastelands, and that does make it fairly tough. So what can we really do with this then? I mean, it is fairly speedy for its size, but it's not the fastest vehicle out there, and it's not particularly small. So this is going to be interesting. Alright, now first things first, let's break it down. So we've got a fair amount of lighting equipment out there at the front, because of course, if you need to do any harvesting at night, then you do have that sort of visibility there. And it's got this big container wall as a sort of frontal piece there, as well as these large fenders. So very well protected, actually. And it has a fair amount of structure points as a result. Now these two big engines at the top, or rather the two sort of fairly light class engines anyway, they're okay, but I find they're a little bit vulnerable. But what we have when we strip these out and have a look underneath, that is a heavy generator. So this has a lot of energy left to spare, in fact. We're currently using 5 out of 10 points of energy. So there's still a fair amount that we can do with this. Now, the weight is nearly at its limit, so there's not a lot we can do in that sense. But thankfully it doesn't really need it. But what I do want to do is kind of improve its mobility. So we did have a couple of issues with turning around. And since this already has the harvester blade at the front, I'd like to keep that and maybe turn this into a big, powerful melee vehicle. So maybe we need to do something about its mobility then. Let's try and upgrade its maneuverability, and then we'll see where we go from there. Alright, so we've added a third axle in the middle here, which should help with the steering a little bit. And that's slightly offset from the middle, so hopefully that helps with steering. And the main bulk of power is actually going to these front wheels here, which are fairly large. Now, they're big and heavy, but so far as I can tell, they're actually more useful for gaining grip anyway, since this is mainly a front-wheel drive vehicle with all the rear wheels doing the steering instead, which will help to keep the harvester on a sort of central pivot. Hopefully that works out that way. And now we're going to think about weapons. So the harvester itself is a damage over time weapon, so we need to kind of look at weapons that do a similar thing. Now, we do have these chainsaws, we also have augers as well, and these will fit quite nicely onto the front right here. So these would actually go quite well. They do stick out a little bit more than I would like, however, I think putting them up here might mean that they don't actually have a chance of hitting the target. But something like that could actually help to keep the sort of enemies on the sort of front there as we pivot. So if they move too much to the left or right, then we still hit them with the augers. At least that's the hope anyway. And now, since we still have some spare energy, I'm thinking of putting these chainsaws on the side here just to catch anything that happens to try and attack us from anywhere other than the frontal angle. So that's looking pretty good so far. I think I might actually put a spare auger in the middle there, just to kind of give it a chance of having a little bit more extra damage there. I mean, hopefully that works out. I have no idea if this is going to work at all. I mean, it's already fairly nasty looking. So, next thing we're going to do is finish up armoring up the thing, because we are a little bit exposed at the rear, and I'm going to try and fix that. And then once we're done, we can take this out and see how it performs. Alright, so that's more or less suitably armored up now. Got some tin caps and planks at the front just to kind of resist a little bit more damage. And then we've got all of these right here. And hopefully it's speedy enough to get in and get out. Now I know the main flaw with melee vehicles is that you see them coming and they're sitting ducks if you can get away from them. So I'm hoping we can find some good spots to hide on the map and generally sort of blend in. And to do that, I've decided I'm going to paint this. And I feel like we should go with a sort of dune paint, some nice desert camo, or we can go with urban camo, and that would of course hide us so much better, wouldn't it? Or we can go pure white, because nobody would ever notice that. I think that makes perfect sense. Oh, you know what? No one will ever see this coming. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. Right, let's get into a match and see how well we do. Alright, kind of glad that we picked this instead of the desert camo, because this is the first round that we're on. This certainly blends in much better, actually. Very glad that we chose this. And it seems like the third axle actually hasn't really helped us with maneuvering all that much. This is still, well, not the easiest to control, unfortunately. But, hopefully the immense amount of weaponry does pay off. And something does appear to be hitting the ground. Right, here we go. We're taking a lot of damage from the front. A lot of damage from the front. We've lost most of the weapons and our large wheel there. Can't turn. Gotta get away. And, yeah, we're definitely getting ganged up on right now. Oh, dear. Okay, so that first match kind of proved that our maneuverability solution right here with the extra axle actually hasn't helped at all. In fact, if we just have a look at it, it seems to actually be making it harder to turn. Which isn't helping in the slightest. So, we're gonna have to fix that. Alright, so I've moved the steering wheels further back. That should give us a longer pivot point and given us some extra wheels in the middle just to kind of stabilize the whole vehicle. I don't know if that's really going to help all that much, but one thing that I did notice is that we lost a lot of the weapons at the beginning from the front, which is not the best of things to have happen, I gotta be honest. So we're gonna fix that now. I'm thinking what we can do instead is put a couple of struts in. So we've got some small struts here. I'm just going to attempt to put those on instead. Oh, actually, you know what? We also have a couple of avia panels that we can slide in there. But I don't know if that's going to help us all that much. We basically need to fill in that space there, so that we can have multiple weld points for these augers, since they are very, very useful, but they definitely do require a little bit more in the support department. So I'm going to get rid of these tin caps for now and this auger here, and we're going to put a metal box, I think that works. Let's put a metal box there, and let's shift that onto that. That works just fine. So we have an additional weld point for that to be attached to. Yeah, that seems to be just fine, I think. And then let's put a half wall over here. That is going to render our headlights useless, but let's put them on top instead. And that will be where we mount the third auger instead. So now all of them are in a fairly straight line. That seems to work. And I'm going to put some form of protection on that. I think I have a fence piece I could probably put on that. There we go. Although that has pushed us a bit overweight. So if I do that and take away the headlights... Oh, we're still overweight. Okay, you know what? Never mind. That's just going to have planks instead. If the planks will let us... No, we can't even put that on there. These things are very heavy. But I think this is actually okay. It's a sort of double layer on the front. And now we have a 13-ton vehicle, which will hopefully be able to perform. Alright, here we go. And, oh, there's another red one behind us. And, that's interesting. So, yeah. We kind of look a little bit sunburnt, kind of like a sunburnt lobster. Or a boiled lobster. Do lobsters get sunburnt? I don't know. But here we go. So, we're going to go a long way around, so that we can hopefully close the gap with the enemy without them seeing us. That may or may not work out, but we will see. Now, bear in mind, this does not have Chameleon on it. I wanted to put it on, but that would sacrifice a lot of the energy that we just don't have right now. It's just bouncing around a little bit. Hopefully we can get around here before they see us anyway. Now, there is somebody up there at the top. Oh, there's somebody there in front of us. Duck and weave. Duck and weave. Not working. Get him. We are grinding the plows a little bit. That is not what I wanted to do. I'm trying to get around them. Oh, one plow's gone. Let's get around to the side of him. Oh, we've taken a cannon hit. Now we're really ripping into him now. He's been flipped onto his side, but we can't turn around. Oh dear. He's using his autocannon to spin him around. Let's try to get on the right side of him. The biggest problem here is maneuverability. We really can't turn around. He does have a car jack. But, oh, he's been immobilized again. We are having a teammate help us out here. And get the last little bit of a hit in there. So really, if you miss that first bull rush with a vehicle like this, you're kind of screwed. Alright, there are a couple of people around here that do need to be flipped back over. But we do have the base being capped at the moment. Oh, this is a cliff. That's not what I intended to do. Oh, we're aerodynamic enough. Oh, he hasn't turned around. No, I turned when I didn't mean to. Completely missed. Oh, and we've lost the game. I think it's become quite clear that this vehicle really isn't the best. And that's for a number of reasons. I mean, that turning circle really isn't very, very good at all. So that's really not helping us one bit. And I think adding the second or the third axle there to really help us with the support of the vehicle overall has actually hurt our maneuverability quite significantly. Alright, so there's a teammate over there who's just been taken out, and now I've got no room to go whatsoever. We've lost the front end. That was a cloaker with an explosive spear. Oh, he's coming for us. He's coming for us. His teammates have nudged him out of the way. Oh, not a good showing at all. Alright, last match with this machine, and I think it's fair to say that we're not really doing very well at all. I mean, for one thing, it's fast for its size, but it's not fast enough to do what it needs to do. And without a chameleon module, of course, it really will suffer quite badly. But when it gets a chance to, it can really do some very, very serious damage. We've already been spotted here. So I don't know if going this way is the smartest. But hopefully they get distracted by the rest of the team. They do seem to be moving up. Oh no, there's somebody right in front of us here. Can we damage him? Well, we've got the chainsaw on him. But he's dancing right around us with that, with those armored tracks of his, really giving a lot of maneuverability. And, now we're just fodder for the cannons at this stage. And, well, that's all we have time for today, and, just attempting to weaponize a combine harvester hasn't really gone all that well today, has it? I mean, mainly the base vehicle is quite strong, but it's just not fast enough to do the job. And with that harvester blade at the front, it has a chance of doing a lot of damage if it's allowed to get up close, which unfortunately it can't really do. The chainsaws on the side do actually help, but they only seem to help when you miss the target. And then, of course, they hook the target onto the side instead of actually turning it around to the front, which is not what we're looking for. So, unfortunately, I'd have to say this design is a failure. A complete failure. But I had a lot of fun playing with it anyway. But let me know what you think of it down in the comments below, and if you have any ideas of the vehicle that you'd like to see me attempt to weaponize, let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, and in fact the entire series of Crossout so far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.